Job trauma is not a joke, and it will take you down.
Don't ignore what happened to you, but update your response. It's the patterns that you created during these trauma events that are still with you. So your new inner self is running the show instead of your trauma responses.
If you have an issue that seems to be your Achilles heel, happening over and over, a weak spot, you're going to have to commit.
You don't have to keep performing every second and react to every ask to make that your self-worth. After all, everybody is human, right?
What would be one thing you would want to tell our listeners to make sure that they attend to?
Reflect later. Take some notes. Was that real? Did I look into it wrong? Stop.
Enough already! You've worked harder, stayed later, smiled through it, you've shrunk yourself, you've overexplained yourself, you've apologized for yourself, and still walked away feeling like you were the problem. You weren't. You've been playing by rules that were never designed for you, and you're exhausted. You're done. I'm Coach Mo Fall, and this is Enough Already, the podcast for women who are done performing and ready to heal, reclaim, and redefine what their life actually gets to look like when you step into your real power. No more shrinking, no more trying to be less or more, or whatever they need you to be. We're going to name exactly what happened, get free from it, and figure out what comes next. This is your space. This is your moment. Women, we are rising. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. For this episode, we are continuing our job trauma conversation. I am joined with extraordinary coach Stacey, who coaches our executives, all of our leaders, and we both coach a communication course that we conduct a few times a year, and we're bringing some of that coaching directly to you on this podcast. So this is episode 2 of job trauma. And if you missed the episode 1, I'm going to briefly review job trauma as I see it and as Coach Stacey and I coach it. Job trauma is basically a repeating experience pattern that you experience with emotions that heighten your stress response and put you into a stress response relative to that particular experience. For instance, job loss. If you had job loss last year and you are seeking a new job and you are not having as great a success as you want, you are likely to be digging your hole on how you are perceiving yourself after that job loss. You're likely making it mean more about who you are, and it's likely diminishing how you feel about yourself and increasing self-doubt, etc. And as you could imagine, this is a spiral that continues to go down unless you take care of things. So how do we take care of things with job trauma? Well, I'm going to asterisk this. If you have real mental health issues, emotional, maybe you're clinically depressed, you're not sleeping well, all sorts of things going the wrong direction, please see your physician or mental health provider to help with things that are beyond the nature of this podcast and coaching. So we are going to walk you through situational experiences that we've helped our clients go through and how we understand the nature of negative emotional experiences at the workplace, which I have coined the word job trauma several years ago, because not only did I experience this in my 30 plus year career, but nearly every client who ever came to us for coaching had some element of either personal trauma that was starting to raise its head based on the emotional experiences at work, causing that person to just feel bad and start to have a greater emotional interpretation of events. And Stacey, one of the things that you are really, really good at is coaching women not to respond in the moment of something that is dicey and spicy. Let's talk about that pause of the moment, and let's talk about how to avoid having an overreaction because you're in a job trauma response. And I'm thinking of a couple of specific examples right now, but please go ahead and bring some of the coaching experience that you have on this particular topic.
Well, first, let's start with you experience job trauma, maybe over and over again, but really it's the patterns that you created during these trauma events that are still with you. And that is what you bring and you carry it with you. So people are afraid when they've experienced job trauma, when I get the next job, how do I not have job trauma. And it's really, you got to start breaking patterns. Don't ignore what happened to you, but update your response. Like reboot your computer, your inner computer, so you can respond better. Your new inner self is running the show instead of your trauma responses running the show. So you got to understand that first. Right. And you mentioned pausing before reacting. Number one, you got into trauma. Now you don't want to repeat your patterns that are there. You got to stop a minute. Separate the real facts of the situation from your initial assumptions. Don't forget, you're new at a job. You're making assumptions based on what people say to you, even maybe your new boss. Absorb it, take it in, think about it, reflect later, take some notes. Was that real? Did I look into it wrong? Stop, okay? Do a personal check in about yourself. What am I assuming based on what I heard in that conversation? And when you ask yourself, what do I really know? You don't know anything. You just started your job. You really got to take notes. You got to get organized. Listen to what people saying. Listen, in your original 12-week program, and we also had it in the second when you revised your modules, you did a 30, 60, 90-day section. I remember because I helped with that, and the first 30 days is about listening, is about absorbing. It's not reacting. So that's two. Three, develop routines, develop good habits so you can listen, you can reflect without judging. You just got there.
Can we talk about that not judging?
Those are a few. You want to jump into that? I got a few more. Apply the 24-hour rule. Don't respond in the first 24 hours. You know this. You've been coaching on that for years.
A non-new job, the 24-hour rule, and then how to neutralize feedback as data and not a personal attack, because that's another great coaching that we do a lot. And unfortunately, many women get themselves behind the 8 ball, having an overreaction to something that is part of a job trauma response because they read into it at a higher level than is necessary, and that is a higher level that is good for them. So let's talk about reviewing feedback as data.
Or they're hearing something, Mo, that they heard again. Like, oh, that happened in my last job. So now they're almost losing sight of what's really going on here. And I'm not saying there may not be some of that. People are humans. Bosses are bosses. Organizations are organizations. You're not going to change a culture or a person. The only thing you can do is change how you react to the culture, to the person. So it doesn't have to absorb you.
And when you're in a stress pattern, a chronic stress pattern, you are not getting
It's
sleep.
absorbing.
Your body is on hyper alert anyway. And it's like you can't stop yourself from having a poor response because you are in such a heightened threat alert. And this is one of the reasons why I am a huge advocate of meditation, because it is the one tool. There are a few others, but it is the one tool that will give your nervous system rapid retraining on not escalating as quickly. Rapid retraining for your nervous system to be able to neutralize feedback, scenarios, comments, etc. Like when you can neutralize those things rather than be in a job trauma response, you are going to handle things better. And that means you first take responsibility for your wounds and your healing, and you become more of a whole person because that's your insurance policy for your trauma response, not to be in the new job, not to be in a possible promotion, or not to be in thinking of a bigger job, thinking, I don't want more job. This sucks. And that's, I think, what stops a lot of women from advancing their careers. They get themselves into their own glass ceiling, afraid of more. Understood, if you're having this trauma response going on, who wants more of that? So you have to help yourself out and realize that when you can neutralize a situation, whether that be feedback or a snarky comment from someone, or a boss who indeed is passive aggressive or treating you less than, diminishing you, dismissing you. I've had those bosses. Matter of fact, I think I only had one good boss in my whole entire career, Stacy. I mean, I swear to God, there's a lot of wounded people in leadership, and we're trying to stop that right now and really help women be whole and powerful and functioning from the soul level. Let's talk about detaching self worth in situations. Let's talk about that. How can we detach our own personal identity from performance?
Generally speaking, you are at work what you deliver, what you give out, what your output is, what your value is, especially if you're in sales, right? It's always about what did you sell? What can you sell? What's your last numbers? In a lot of positions, it's not that transactional, maybe, as sales, right? Sales is an exception where when you're in sales, it is about those sale numbers. You don't have to constantly, even in sales, you don't have to constantly perform every second, be the talker in every meeting, be the know it all everywhere you go to be a good
How
salesperson.
about listening?
You just have to sell. And it's the same thing. You don't have to keep performing every second and react to every ask and deliver every single time to make that your self worth, especially if you're a leader and you got a team. A lot of women have a hard
Yes,
time
because
delegating.
giving yourself a sense of control.
They attach
Yeah,
their worth
what you
to what
control.
you do, what
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
what you
And
can give.
that's
Exactly.
an insecurity.
So, and again, Mo, your meditation is right on. You got to add that in because or else the monkey mind, when you leave work, is hitting you. And before you go to bed, your monkey mind is going. So, meditation is the connector of helping you on all of these trauma patterns to not carry them forward. It's the number one common denominator with all your clients. When they really, and I'm not just talking about meditating or doing, we do journaling, we do something called the 10-10, you implement it. It's not just that. It's not just going through the motions of that. It's being able to use that mindset, that meditative state to bring you down. I was in my last job, as you know, we sold to private equity. We were doing round meetings for 3 days in a hotel where people were coming in and that. I used to go up to my hotel room and sit on the floor and meditate, even if it was for 3, 4 minutes, just to clear my head to get back down in the next one so I don't carry whatever just happened in the last one into that one. So it really works. You're spot on with the meditation and don't attach. It's about not attaching your self worth to doing, 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 doing.
That's a tough one, isn't it? Because we will gain some validation with good performance. It's just a human nature thing to do. And we all have an ego, and that ego needs a little bit of food. So we do want some performance to give ourselves that external feeling, but please keep it external and really become more whole inside so it doesn't become an assault to you if you have either poor performance or if someone misjudges your performance or misjudges you or misunderstands you. And this is why the number one word, I'm saying neutralize. Stacy is saying pause. These are both the same thing. We've had clients who have sent emails out that have gotten them fired, who have had conversations with bosses that have gotten them fired, who have spoken to a colleague off record that that colleague, for whatever reason, didn't keep it confidential. Again, that's not for you to do at work to have a confidential conversation with someone at work. There's a workplace playing field. Sometimes we call it three-dimensional chess. You are participating on a bigger field than you probably are thinking of every single day. Especially if you've been at your work for many years, you might be taking it for granted that you know people and you know this person and that person. All well and good. Keep your lips tight about complaining, talking about others, and having all of that noise because it is spoken, it is out there.
And you know, when you keep tight, your lips tight, You're going to get all kinds of information
from others.
because people love to talk.
They do. And we talked about that in episode 1. So the episode just prior to this, we were talking about some communication strategies. One of the things that stops women from advancing is just this topic that we're talking about. When women have a job trauma attachment, the last thing they want is a promotion, or if they've lost their job, most women are like, "Ooh, I'll just take a lesser job because it'll be less hard." And 100% of the time, if you backpedal your career, you're going further down the org chart and you're going further down on the contribution and you're going further down on your compensation. And if you're used to contributing at a certain level, I mean, strategic or decision maker, and you've just plopped yourself down in an org chart, you're going to be in a tighter box than you were before. So it's really important that you overcome the job trauma because you know what? The world needs more awesome leaders. The world needs more women leaders. And if you're a woman of color listening to this, the world needs more women of color leaders. That's what Coach Stacy and I's mission in life is after our successful careers is to help more women learn how to advance without making all of the mistake and falling down the ladder too far and then not wanting to get back up. And here's my commercial break. This is exactly what I created Coach Mobi for. Coach Mobi is built to be with you in the moment, 2 a.m., 11 p.m., on the Sunday scaries in the afternoon when your stomach's starting to get sick to it, and you got a meeting on Monday morning. Get into Coach Mobi, and she will help you sort out what your next day looks like. We can't be there, even for our best top notch clients. We can't be there every moment for them. And that's why Coach Mobi is such a fantastic tool in your leadership and career success toolkit. You don't want to keep having the same conversations that go in the wrong direction. You want to be gently called out on your patterns. That's what Mobi will do for you. You want to be given scripts of how to talk to a colleague or a team member who's out of control. You will get exact scripts and exact pattern interrupt on all of these patterns that Stacy and I are talking about that fall into the category of job trauma. So you'll notice with Coach Moby, you'll have clarity in the moment, and then you'll have a much better tactic to exercise for when you need it. So the link is in the show notes below. And seriously, get that before you have your next big conversation. It's going to change everything for you. So, Stacy, we are oftentimes coaching clients on a similar pattern week after week, month after month, patterns repeat. The clients who we are coaching, the magnitude of the pattern gets less and their success gets faster and easier. Let's talk a little bit about on this job trauma topic. You don't wash it on the washing machine, forget it, and it never comes back. These are things that have layers. And I'm thinking about many of our clients who are in our executive circle who we've known for several years, who we keep coaching through episodes and landmines and work complexity. If you have an issue that seems to be your Achilles heel, happening over and over, a weak spot, you're going to have to commit to an internal personal development process or it will keep getting you. Stace, talk a little bit about some of your coaching on these types of patterns.
The pattern of repeating the same mistakes. You said a few things, Mo, so get more specific. Which pattern?
Patterns of repeating sort of the same pattern of perhaps there's a little passive aggressive pattern, or perhaps there's a pattern of diving into a problem deeper than you should, thinking you need to be the one solving all the problems on the team. Some savior complex patterns.
Oh, it's control patterns also, wanting to control everything on the team, not 100% trusting some of your people. Maybe they need a little bit more coaching, so it's easier to do it yourself than actually coach them up. Not enough time in the day to do the work, oversee the work, and coach others on the work. There's several things that come up over and over. You know, companies don't have the FTEs that they used to have, so you're almost working with less. I would say that's a common denominator in a lot of the clients. So the need to get it done and deliver by timelines and do it themselves.
When we are doing it ourselves, we're obviously in a pattern of either not trusting or, as you also said, the I need to control things so I know what's going on. I know that one of the things that helps all of our clients is to gain perspective, seeing the picture from a wider lens. And
Well,
let's
that's why they get coaching, Mo.
yes, exactly.
I mean, that's it. Because everybody falls back into their patterns. And in your executive group, they're all awesome. All their careers have thrived, but people have patterns. They fall back. That's why they get coached. So they could hold them, we could hold the mirror up, and there's plenty of aha moments
Right.
in these coaching sessions.
Yeah.
Because after all, everybody is human. That's what it comes down to. So having someone hold the mirror up to you helps you just get better perspective. And again, going back to your comments, I'm not sure if it was this episode or the last, where you talk about friends being your confidant who won't always hold the mirror to you. As coaches, we constantly hold the mirror. So I have one particular client who's wanted a leadership, wants a promotion, so on and so forth. She finally has people reporting to her. She's lacked that in her whole career. That was one of the things she is missing. Now she has it. Guess what? It's the part of the job she hates the most. She's more big picture, she's more strategy, she's more execution, but it's something that A, she was missing in her trajectory, and she knew it, wanted the opportunity to do it, and she's got it, but she doesn't like it.
And that's
But
interesting.
in order for her to leap here, she's got to do it. And this person is someone who excels in every single area of her career. So she wants to be perfect in this.
Oh boy, that's tough.
It's never perfect with
Not with
people.
human
It's
beings.
never perfect.
That's it.
Exactly, exactly. But she knows she needs it. She's doing it, but maybe not all what she thought it would be.
And that's a really good example of taking it to the next level and then having a space of learning something new, and you feel like a failure at first, and no one wants to be a failure, so we wanna kick the baby out with the bathwater on stuff like that and say, "Ah, I can't do it. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, this is not me." So one of the things about team members is they are multipliers of you. And I think a lot of people first consider the responsibility of having people reporting to them as a burden. And I get that. I've had people reporting to me most of my career. It's a funny thing that sometimes we say if it weren't for the people, leadership would be pretty good. So we have to also take radical responsibility. And this was the final topic I want to bring up in this podcast episode. Radical responsibility means, what am I to learn in this situation? What is being brought to me to be better with, to enhance my skills, to be more tactical, to be a better communicator, to get more rest? I mean, there's all sorts of things that can come up in the mirror. And if we're not taking care of our basic necessities, which includes if we are in a chronic stress trauma pattern, we're not sleeping well, likely, we're probably not eating the best foods for ourselves because that kind of trauma pattern makes you want to eat high calorie foods because your body is saying, oh my God, we might have a famine here. Your body is so primitive in how it's responding to stress, and it doesn't want to sleep because it doesn't feel safe. So all of these things are aggregating. Take responsibility and get yourself in the driver's seat on how to solve this, how to solve repeating patterns, how to solve a chronic stress problem, how to solve you not being at the top of your game. You're going to have seasons in life, but if this is a continual issue for you, you need someone to help you through it. And Stacy said, having a mirror. Now, we come across as pretty strong women. I am sure if you're listening to this or you don't know me for a little while, we call it like it is, but we also love on our clients because we see their higher version of themselves and we help pull them forward to it. So get someone who can see that. Again, not likely your partner, not likely a friend, not likely a family member, and please definitely not a colleague. You need someone who sees the higher version of you and helps and knows how to help you get to that version. Job trauma is not a joke. It is a painful thing to be living with, and it will take you down. It will cause you to quit. It will cause you to downgrade. And there's a reason why women are underperforming men. We were not raised to win like this, but you can learn it and it's important. Women are under earning men by $1 million to a $500,000 over their careers. That's not just chump change. That's not just 20 or $30,000 a year. That's year after year. That adds up. And if you know anything about compounding interest, that $500,000 earning level less than, throw interest on top of that. So if you're a listener of this, click on the show notes here. At least investigate our portable Mo on the go Mobi. She can help you in every situation. And Stacey, I want to wrap this up with really what to take forward. And what to take forward on this topic of job trauma is begin having a plan to get yourself in a better scenario other than staying in a job trauma pattern. What would be one thing you would want to tell our listeners to make sure that they attend to after listening to this?
Take inventory of what went down before. Don't make assumptions moving forward. Take everything in your new job as a data point. Do never assume intent. Listen more, speak less.
That's a list. And if you didn't get that list, put this on pause, rewind 30 seconds, and grab those nuggets. Please take something from this podcast episode to make your life and your career prospects better. That's why we're here on these podcasts. Enough already, ladies. Let's get you winning and let's get you loving to win. We'll see you on the next podcast episode. This is Coach Mo Fall, mofall.com, and I am here with awesome Coach Stacey. We'll see you in the next episode. Stacey, thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Bye.
If today's episode hit home, share it with a woman who needs to hear it. Because the best thing we can do is make sure no woman sits alone in an experience that has a name. You've been listening to enough already. I'm Coach Mo Fall. Please subscribe and like and comment so this can be sent to more women just like you who needs to hear there is a different way. Take good care.